It's like it comes to you in your dreams, like it's from outside of myself. Like I'm not this clever, but it's for me to make this imagination a reality. Hey, my name's Jacob Thompson, and I'm a local puppeteer based in Christchurch. I do the obscure art form of marionettes. Marionettes is actually an ancient art form. At the moment, the French are probably the best at it, and it goes back to Italy 2,000 years ago. You take it back further, and it goes to ancient Egypt and China. It can go back as far as 5,000 years, so who knows how old this art form is, you know? I was doing animation, and then I saw the change with AI changing a lot of the workflows that I'd worked about 10 years on how to do it. I needed a new computer, but during COVID, the prices went up so high that I couldn't afford it. Instead, I got a new 3D printer with the money that I'd saved. I made all kinds of statues and things I sculpt in 3D and then I print it. But over time, it ended up just being boring, just a still statue that sat there, and I'd give them away and I'd, make them for local shops and everything. But after time, I actually ended up going, hey, I could make a hand puppet. No way. Hold on, hand puppets. What are those string puppets? Marionettes. Oh, marionettes. There was a brilliant marionettes Czech Republic, and they had some ones that you could download. And then once I learned the design of how an elbow bends and how you do it, then all of my characters that I had a backlog of, I cut them up into puppets from my own designs. As I'm learning as I go, I'm making them more and more complicated. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I'm trying. So in the city, my show's a lot less structured because people are walking past me, so it's hard to start a story. But when I do it on TikTok Live, I can have little parts of a story or a 20 questions game. And when people win the 20 questions, I'll give them a song request. Yeah, I'm learning as I go what the show is going to be. I'm not sure exactly yet.
I'm a celebrity to nobody, but a friend to you all.
Out on the street, I still love it the most because you see live reactions. Like there's nothing beating like a toddler. There's a funky song comes on and a toddler can't help but being like, yeah, I love this, and they're so hyped up and happy, and it's really good. With TikTok, for a long time, I was performing to 3 to 4 people and nobody's watching. I'm like, man, I'm gonna give this up. But now my audience on TikTok is way larger than when I go out on the street, obviously. But I still prefer live performance to people with, seeing other people's smiles and yeah. My process from start to finish for making the puppets is a lot of super gluing my fingers together and failing 20 times, but no. So I go from computer design. Okay, so yeah, here's ZBrush, the 3D digital sculpting program. So I've separated my mushroom sculpt into 2 separate parts. So here is the top of the mushroom and here is the mouth. And if I wanted to modify or change this, I can use a brush and I can actually sculpt up, change parts, make it lumpier, and then I'll put it into another program to make sure that it's rotating and working properly. This is Maya, a 3D program, and here, just to check that the jaw is rotating correctly for when I want to work it, here's the mouth of the puppet is working. Oh. Hello everybody. It's kind of clay sculpting, like digital sculpting, and then I'll print the top of the head, and then the jaw is a separate piece. And then I go to the hardware store and I'll put like a pin through the jaw, a string through the head, and then now the jaw can move. As for sewing and clothing, I just borrow from different dolls and stuff like that. All right, so this is how the bony skeleton top half of his body and rib cage comes out. This is one of the more annoying parts. Big bits like this is easy to take off, so now I snap the support. And so then there'll be little bits left so you can sand that. These are the parts you have to sand off later, otherwise the strings can actually get caught on the little... This can be quite annoying, and so a string running around here could catch on its own ribs. So you want to, later I will sand these off so before I paint it. I have an airbrush. I quite like paint brushes and airbrush, so it gets some finer details. I like painting the skin and certain techniques I've learnt from art over time. Yeah, it's a hard process, yeah. It does become some sort of voodoo, weird area, and so it's very much like when you're doing marionettes and you're really in it, it does feel like this is a little alive creature, you know. It's strange to say, but I've got quite a few puppets. They all have their different personalities, and Harold, my main guy, he's a little bit of a rogue, like an anti-authority kind of character. The skeleton is more like the funky, dancing kind of guy. I've got a dog, and I've got Simon psilocybin as a little magic mushroom, and Frankie Fun Guy, his friend. When I first took it out, I could barely stand the marionette up and I was wobbly, and I was like, hey, check this out, everybody. And now I look back at some of the videos that I used to do and I'm like, oh, this is pretty bad puppeteering. One of the hardest parts about puppetry is you want to move it a lot, but it's actually a very subtle art form that's more akin to an instrument than a toy. You've got to move it very small and smoothly. You can't shake it. It's very a fine art form. Giving people a go on my puppets, it's so interesting because you could have a girl with pigtails in her hair and she'll mash it into the ground and almost break it. You're like, oh, and then a little girl that's very gentle with it. It's not about gender or size or anything. Some people, they just use the puppets too roughly and you're like, whoa, 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 you're gonna break it. And then other people, they're right into it. You can tell when they're really in the zone. And they're like, oh, this is a little character. I'm in it now, you know. If people want to get into marionettes and they needed advice, I would say contact myself at Boney Show on TikTok Live and I'll help you all that I can. I don't like it when they build up an expertise in something, but they pull up the ladder from under them and then they don't let anyone else, they never assist or share knowledge. For me personally, I would love to have my whole room taken over by very complicated puppets, and I want to have linking, I want to have lasers shooting out their eyes, I want to have like flying birds. My imagination is up here with the show, but my skills are down here at the moment, so the sky's the limit, you know.